podcast. My name is Adewale Buke Jr. I got my boy here with me, King Kimba, aka the Colonel. Today we continue our journey in our part to be a part of the, as I like to say, the healing process of Africa, the resurrection and return to greatness of Africa. And on this podcast here, we always Africa first, Africa second, Africa third. We know about her greatness. We know about her resurrection. We know where she needs to be, and just really being part of that circle of energy that makes sure that we hold these trustical leaders accountable for the nonsense that they don't do. So, King Kimba, man, what's up with you, brother? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. First off the rip, Africa is the mother of civilization. Why is she dependent on? She's the mother of civilization, the youngest continent in the world. She's the mother of civilization, the oldest continent in the world with the youngest population in the world. Why, with the most amount of resources dependent on in the world, why is she now dependent on the rest of the world?
Man, that structural integrity, intentional destabilization, crooked leaders who don't prioritize their own African dignity and just wanted to serve themselves. That's really why we have a problem. So, brother, today there's some things we want to tackle, audience. So thank y'all for joining us. And look, prior to this, be sure to like us, review us, rate us. We are coming with the Cultural Capitalist Podcast channel. So eventually, this whole thing where we're flipping back and forth between me and Kimba's platforms will be strictly Cultural Capitalist Podcast. Today, y'all, we're going to focus on week 10, industrialization and dependency. And really want to focus on...
Or dependency.
Or dependency. We want to really focus... That's industrialization or dependency. We want to really focus on Africa consuming what it eats. This is what we're trying to say. And our main talking points today are going to be manufacturing gaps, the Utopia model, made in Africa, supply chains, and export strategy. So, for me, Kimba, what do you think is... We've said this before because we've done this on sovereignty. Sovereignty is a big word when we talk about this thing, but what do you think is the real... with the things we're going to talk about today is the issue of Africa, the industrialization and dependency of just our food sovereignty?
Well, food sovereignty is one, but your opening statement where you said intentional destabilization, okay? And that is why the continent is where it is today, or is part of it. And our thesis for this week is that Africa must make what it consumes.
Very true.
I remember years ago when I was living in the US, one of the things I used to see Americans have a lot of pride in is this tag that used to go in some of the clothes. And it used to be also in a lot of the adverts. It would be this line, made in America. Now, at the time, I can't really say that I understood the levels, the layers of those tags or that statement. But as I grew up, I started to understand that the level of pride that many Americans had in that statement was the idea that they were self-sufficient, right, as a nation. And that still applies today. Being self-sufficient doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have relationships with other people, other businesses, and you don't do business with other people. But what it does mean is that you have a level of autonomy which allows you to not be exploited for your resources. And that's not the situation in Africa. A lot of the resources of Africa are exported and then imported back into the continent at cost that is really not affordable for the natives of the continent. And as you said, all that is intentional destabilization, and that is a result of what we know to be colonization and what we know to have been leaders who have been groomed for self-interest for centuries. Groomed for self-interest. And so the mother of civilization, which is the continent of Africa, has become reliant on those who basically pillaged and not pillaged, are still pillaging the continent.
It's funny you said that we started with that introduction like that. I mean, it's just part of, it's just like a simple thing me we were just talking about before we came online about my school situation. It's the same thing. What you're doing is you're taking the citizens of the country and we're going to allow you not to feed yourselves. We want to be parasites within your existence. And that's what's always been an issue for me. The parasitic, it's not even a relationship. Europe is a parasite in Africa. America is a parasite in Africa. Arab nations are parasites in Africa. They don't want us to be without them because they know they need us to lead. So what do they need? They keep funneling money they don't have. Imagine this, brother. You are so incompetent as an African leader that you will let them pay you with the money they steal from you. Kiba, you watched me come to your house. I walked through your front door. I went to your backyard. I stole your grass. I carried your grass. I took it to another country. Then I came back and paid you with that grass. And you act like you're doing something. That's what happens in Africa every single day. It's a very frustrating. Somebody was just saying this today. There's a guy that I watch on YouTube. He's an independent guy, like just like us. And there's a lot of nonsense happening in Nigeria right now with this nonsense of terrorism and all that. And he was saying, African Union, when are you going to do your job? You'll show up when there's a picture to be taken, but you won't show when the people, citizens of Africa, are suffering. Sudan has fallen. DRC has fallen. Libya has fallen. Nigeria's next, and he's right. Destabilization, cutting off food. The citizens, look, I can say this in totality, and I can say this very proudly about Africans. We're the only continent where I know that the people are the economy because we do business with ourselves. We find a way to still have love for ourselves in spite of our useless governments. Of course, we have the three great men that I love the most. Ibrahim Traore, Assimi Gota of Mali, and of course, Abdimanti Chain of Niger. But we need to replicate those three great men. And how are we going to do this when we have useless individuals like John Dramani of Ghana, who's a coward? He's really shown me what he is. I don't care what anybody says. I'm sick of this man's strategy. He's a politician, man. And Africa doesn't need that. We need champions. We need people to talk about some democracy nonsense. Democracy is European propaganda. We don't need democracy in Africa. We need leaders. We have our own infrastructure, which is why our food infrastructure is messed up. How is it that we have a continent of 1.2 billion people and we can't feed ourselves? Our land, 60% of our land, which is ready to grow food, is been unused. And if it does get used, it's some corrupt country from somewhere else coming to buy the land because the useless leader is selling it. Take Kenya, for example. Kenya has been led by a gentleman named William Ruto. He's probably going to go down as the weakest, sorriest coward you've ever met in your life. The man is not serving these people. He's serving his own ends, right? And when you serve your own ends, how are people supposed to eat? He's mortalizing these people. He's starving these people. And then he's scaring them. And then people are... The word tribalism, I hate using that word because we're not tribals, we're nations. Hey, greetings from Chile. Thank you for joining us, man. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for being part of the chat, man. Thank you, Jose Condoza. I believe I'm reading correctly. Welcome to the Cultural Capitalist Podcast. I don't know what you are talking about, ugly people, but I think you might want to wear a brown bag over your face, man. So, brother, I ain't got time for that. But you know what I'm saying? So, what we're doing now is food. If we don't grow the food, bro, that's like you getting in your car every single day and driving to go buy groceries every single day. You're driving if you were in New Jersey, you're driving all the way to Texas to go get your food. That's what Africa is doing. We're paying import tax. We're paying every type of tax on the food that is our food. Even our oil is the same way. At what point are we going to have some sovereign dignity and say, we don't want this no more? And that's why I think it comes back to what I was saying before, so I can let you take over. We have a generational gap, man, problem in Africa. Our generation versus all these assholes that are all 60 plus years old, they got to go, bro. I'm sorry. They got to go. And I was having this conversation with a family member. He's like, I don't disagree with what you're saying. In fact, my strategy of how I want to go about it, nobody's disagreeing with me. They all agree. We got a clean house. I'm sorry, but John Dramani is betraying Africa right now, and we're watching him do it. And he's trying to do it off of some democracy nonsense, off of some bilateral nonsense. You're a traitor to Africa. And there you go to the UN talking about we need to sign this slavery embargo. We need to sign this saying that slavery is the worst crime in humanity. But yet you're selling us out. You did it on the same day. How is our food situation supposed to get better when you're selling us out? You get what I'm saying? It's just, man, it's just, oh my God, it gets me hot, man.
So to reiterate and support what you're saying, you said there's so much truth in what you were saying. Is so interesting as well, because you looked at and you really focused on the older generation, saying the older generation are not serving and looking out for the interest of the continent and their countries. And we know, especially from last week, our episode last week. Oh, shouts out to you, Jose, for learning English. You know, it's going to be a real blessing to you and to others around you in terms of how you're able to.
It'll give you 2 ways to eat, man. You better get your English on. You speaking your whatever language you guys speak in Chile, and then plus whatever you are to your arsenal. It can only make you better, man.
Yeah. So, you know, you said about the older generation not really serving the interest of the country, you know, having self-interest. And then you also highlighted the fact, again, which we shared last week, of Africa having the youngest population in the world as a continent.
Yes, sir.
And then, but what is interesting, you also talked about the Sahel states and the leadership there, and you named a African superhero, Ibrahim Traore, the youngest president in the world.
Yes, sir.
So what does that say? That speaks to what you've just said. He's not of that generation that is self-serving.
No.
And so he's taken a very, in the eyes of a lot of people, a very radical approach to government. But I wish we could share the clip that I sent you. Did you get a chance to watch that?
Yeah. Actually, let me see. Let me figure out a way to grab it. Okay, hold on. Let me see. I could. It's on my. Well, what if it's on my YouTube channel? Give me a second. I might be able to mess around and see it. Because sometimes when I click something
or
on my
you can
phone,
just play it. Can you play it and we can just listen to the audio?
Yeah. Let me play it. Give me a second, y'all. I think I might be able to pull that off. Give me a second, y'all. Hold on, y'all. Y'all stay.
Ezra, can you get started on your homework now, please? Thank you. If you have any questions, just come and ask me, yeah? So what Adewale is pulling up is we've got some information that I just want to share as an audio clip on Ibrahim Traore and what he's doing in Burkina Faso as a leader.
I got it. Look. All right, let's watch it. We're gonna watch it on my I'm gonna put it live. I'm gonna flip the camera for y'all.
Okay,
all right,
cool.
Here we go. All right, so hey,
can you turn it up, bro? Like turn it up really loud.
Yeah, we're doing the thing at Cultural Capitalist Podcast now, man. We over here just making it go.
Cotton, so why import fabric? African leaders parade in Italian suits. Traore just banned all clothing imports. His farmers grow cotton, so why import fabric? He's building textile factories, wears only local garments, even forced judges to ditch their colonial robes.
We're going to build a factory which will go from cotton all the way to this. It will be ready this year. In 2026, God willing, no longer want to be dressed by a brand that comes from abroad, because our farmers grow the cotton. I can't accept that someone comes and imposes the price of cotton on the farmers when we should be processing it ourselves. And just imagine how many jobs that creates. For a long time, we've been training our people in technical and vocational schools in mechanics, industry, and industrial engineering. And then what? They end up sitting around unemployed. They don't talk about industrial engineering anymore, but instead they look for civil service exams to become administrators somewhere. In fact, we've lost out.
While African leaders parade in Italian suits, Traore.
So there you have it, right? You have a situation, as Kimba is saying, you have a situation where, go ahead, Kimba, this is what you were saying. This is the nonsense that you're talking about.
You know, it directly supports everything you said, bro. Youngest population, most amount of resources, and leadership, older leadership that's not really tapped in to developing the infrastructure with the emphasis and focus on the people of the nation. And this man is doing it, you know, and a lot of people don't like what he's doing. They feel threatened by it. They feel that it's too radical. It doesn't consider the systems that have been in place before. But, you know, when you've grown up in a nation where you know, on a continent where you know that there's abundance of resources that should really have already produced the type of lifestyle that a lot of other nations have been enjoying for hundreds of years as a result of exploiting the resources in you're going to get tired, bro. At some point you're looking around everybody else, you're like, you know, the wood from that house came from my backyard. Like, why can't I live in a house like that? You know what I mean? So it's what you're saying. And to your point, about this idea of democracy, it does sound good and it's worked for other countries, but a lot of the other countries that it's worked for have been reliant on the continent of Africa to be able to enjoy that level of democracy. And so what is working for them only works for them because they're living off the back of another continent, right? And the leaders, the liberties that a lot of other nations have, Africans don't have because they don't have the resource, the infrastructure for the use of resources is not in place in a way that they can be afforded those opportunities. And the leadership is self-serving. So, and this is a prime example. Like, to where else is that happening on the continent?
It's say shame. Hey, how you doing, Jez Mendoza? Thank you for joining us, and thank all of y'all, all 18 of y'all joining us tonight. Thank you for being with us. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. We're on my platform this week. We'll be back next week on Kimber's platform. But we're talking about week 10 industrialization or dependency. One of the things which is somebody in your backyard right now, Kemi Budnock, she's a disgrace. You know who I'm talking about. She is really a disgrace, and if she really hates being African, then she should change her name. Go drive through a car wash. Make sure the bleach goes over your skin, and also change your name too. You see, with the things we're going to talk about today is manufacturing gaps. That's not an accident. It's not an accident that they don't want the jobs. Can you imagine the jobs in Africa?
Bro,
And
listen,
then the next thing is
I just
forgive
me. Can I just dive in right there? That is so inspiring. I love that comment. I tell you why. There's a designer like us, who's really doing well. He's got a company. He does shoes and stuff, and I love it. And I was on his social media this week, and I saw him in China in all the factories, looking at all of the resources and stuff that they're developing there. In terms of, China's got all those manufacturers. And I thought to myself, for me, this should be the future of Africa, right? There needs to be manufacturing plants. Obviously, I know there's one of the things that you have to deal with is the climate, for manufacturing facilities. But bro, this is what should be happening there. It's not just African nations shouldn't just be seeking Chinese investment, because that's what a lot of them are doing. They're allowing the Chinese and other nations to come in and invest, right?
They're not investing. They're building their own countries up on our backs. Let's not call it invest. Invest is not even the word. It's not even close. You know what I mean?
What should be happening is facilities should be being built where they should be built there, and there should be ownership there. It shouldn't be reliant on infrastructure. The people, the folks who have the finances, and there are
plenty
hundreds of thousands,
plenty.
And it should be so. Sorry to cut you, but
no, you're good. I think I want to piggyback on what you said. Stop taking our stuff and send it to other countries. We can have our own manufacturing companies. We have the weather. Stop hiding. They stop hiding behind weather. Weather? Are you kidding me?
Dude, use it. Solar power, use it. Put some panels on the roof.
Look, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna keep saying it. Africa is the only self-sufficient continent. We don't need nobody else. We don't need nobody. We got it all. But our leaders, like the corrupt one in South Africa, Ramaphosa, or that piece of trash in Kenya, Ruto, or that piece of trash in Tanzania, Samoya, or that piece of trash in Nigeria, Tinubu, or that piece of trash in Ghana, yes, John Dramama is starting to get on my nerves. He's proven to me that he shouldn't be trusted. When you do deals against your own continent, you're talking about, we sovereignty and we don't cancel anybody. I know you should, for the better of Africa. That's what I've seen Goita, Ibrahim Traore, and Abdulman Ticheni are doing. It's not just a change; it's a revolution. It's a complete mental revolution. And the problem is that he's part of the problem. He's part of the older generation.
Yeah.
All these 60-something plus guys I consider them idiots. And I don't mind saying this because I was having this conversation with my father. And I think I finally got my father to come around to see what I'm saying. They're idiots. I have this conversation with my uncle all the time. He said, my uncle says all the time, we are a disgrace of a generation. My uncle says, we didn't do shit generation. That's what he calls themselves. All we did was put all our work on y'all. Now y'all have to do what we should have done plus what y'all got to do. That's what we're in the position now. Remember, I was talking to you earlier about issues I've had at school. I have a professor, and your audience, I'm an animation student, right? And our nation professor is getting let go by our school, Long Beach City College. Yes, I'm putting the school on blast. Long Beach City College, instead of keeping our good professors, they find everything they can do to get rid of the ones that actually want to give the students a future. So guess what I did, y'all? I wrote the dean of the school of the art department, but she took the political route. Thank me for writing the letter. So I said, you know what? Screw you. I'm gonna go above your head. And then I said, screw the president of the school too. I'm gonna go above his head. I'm going straight to the board of directors. You know how you deal with people like this? You embarrass them. When you embarrass them, they'll do their job. Y'all see what I'm saying? That's why we have problems in Africa now. We're not embarrassing our leaders. We need to embarrass Kenyatta. We need to embarrass Ruto. We need to embarrass John Dumara. We need to embarrass Tinubu. We need to embarrass all these useless leaders. Bro, I mean, I can only really think of 5 good leaders in Africa. 3 are the champions. The other 2, I'm on the border fence about them. Because they're too colonized. Where's your dignity? Where's your, if you have dignity, then we have manufacturing plants. This is what Ibrahim Traore was saying. This is why the block of the Sahel states, Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, we need them to succeed, period. Have their own infrastructure, money, banks, economics, television, entertainment. Oh, bro, I will gladly go open up a bank account in Mali, in Niger, and Burkina Faso, just for the pride of saying I've got a bank account in an African country and I've got Africans that look like me running it with dignity and pride.
You know what? That takes us to our next point, actually.
Utopia model, which I'm going to let you take over.
Yeah, obviously, I was just there a couple of weeks ago. I had the pleasure of spending a week in Ethiopia for work and teaching. And it was really amazing. But something I noticed, it's going to be interesting. The only banks in Ethiopia were Ethiopian.
Wow.
Every bank I saw was Ethiopian. I was in Addis. Now, I don't know if that's the same everywhere else in Africa.
No, heck no.
Else in Ethiopia. No. Sorry, I didn't mean to say Africa. I meant to say Ethiopia. I don't know if that's the same across the nation of Ethiopia, but every bank that I saw in Addis was Ethiopian. Now, that was very interesting to me. And I tell you why it was interesting. It was based on another fact that I got. So when you're there, a fact that I got from a driver. So when you're there, you don't necessarily drive yourself. You've got a driver. So I was out one particular day and we were talking, we were driving through Addis and I wanted to know a bit about the city from his perspective. And so I asked him about the transition that Ethiopia has been making, or that Addis has been making, not Ethiopia, Addis. And he said, yeah, it's good on some levels because it changes the face of Addis. And because Addis is the most looked at city in Ethiopia, in a lot of ways, it changes people's perception of Ethiopia. But he said, I love what the prime minister is doing in terms of changing how the perception of Addis. But he said his politics are not good, though.
Yeah,
he said his basically, I'm paraphrasing here, but he said his cosmetic approach to lifting the appearance of Addis in Ethiopia is phenomenal. He said it's phenomenal because it creates interest, but he said his long-term politics, he's not the guy for that. And I found that to be very, very interesting that he could say something like that. And while he appreciated one aspect of the changes that was being brought by this guy in leadership, but he said long-term, he said, because the problem is that as a prime minister, he's not solving the issues of conflict between the various tribes in Ethiopia. And he said, the future does not look right if you can't get the people to work together. And he said, you can change all you want to in terms of how it looks, but long-term sustaining the growth and the change is only going to happen when you have the people unified. He said, that's going to be his biggest task, or whoever's in leadership. And then the other thing I wanted to finalize that whole idea as Ethiopia, the model. Or actually, I want to mention a couple other things, but I want to give you a chance too, is when I came back to London, I had some leftover Ethiopian money.
Yeah.
So I wanted to exchange it. So I went to the exchange to change it. I went to 2 different exchanges. The first one said, no, we don't carry birr, which is the Ethiopian currency birr. And so they gave me the name of another place. So I went to this other place as well. And they said, we don't change it as well because the currency is locked, which means that no other nation, you can't exchange the currency in other countries. You have to exchange it in that country.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I need to add this other thing as well. The driver also told me the pride that Ethiopians have in building the dam that they built in the Nile,
Yeah.
because what it did is it defined for them their independence, because a lot of that region, a lot of the respect of that region is given to countries like Egypt. And
Egypt.
he said, but people don't understand. We are the only nation that's never been colonized on the continent. And we
Yep.
have a great amount of pride in that. And the fact that the Nile River is the tributary from our continent, not Ethiopia, not
Yep.
Egypt.
Egypt.
And he said a lot of the world tends to focus on Egypt and giving that level of respect to Egypt when they don't realize that it originates in Ethiopia.
But that level of respect is based on Eurocentrism. We have to understand that. You don't. What has Europe always done? Every movie they've done, Casablanca in Egypt. Yet Egypt itself is not even the Egyptians that are living there aren't the real Egyptians. They look like me and you. You just inherited the land and you stole it with Maliku Salam. Yes, that's how you heard what I said. You stole it with Maliku Salam. I come in peace. I'm not going to let you hide behind religion and Islam. For the longest, Arabs have been enslaving Africans since the 7th century. So let's get that out the way. The utopian model, I think, is working, but I think, which is back to the word I said before, tribes is a bad word for me. We used to be nations.
Yeah.
No matter what country or what state, country you were from, you were a nation.
Yeah.
We let Eurocentrism take away our nationism. If that makes any sense in my English. We let Eurocentrism, I'll say it again. We let Eurocentrism take away our nationism. We were nations. There were no borders. We must return to the days of those days, which means if we want to do this, once again, it's back to where I was again. We must clean house. House got to be clean. There's an old saying in Yoruba. Ole. Okay, so I'll put it like this to y'all. Your house cannot be clean unless you wash it. So, which means if you want your floor to stay clean, you have to clean it. Yeah. We continuously live the cycle of dirtiness. These useless, corrupt leaders, like in Africa and Nigeria right now. Our government is sponsoring terrorism against its own citizens. And you let the Fulani tribe get away with it. And then whenever you call out the tribe, they complain about, oh, it's tribe. No, you are a tribe doing the destruction. You sold Yorubas, Igbos, Hausas into slavery. The Fulanis have always done this. They're the only ones across Africa always betraying Africa. They didn't got enough to be getting mad about it. Nobody gives a damn how you feel. I've said this. Don't let me be president. I will go drop biscuits on you motherfuckers. You know, if anybody knows how we say in Africa, that means bombs on your ass. I'm not negotiating with you. You don't negotiate with terrorists. As Ibrahim Traore said, either you get right or we blow you out. We need other countries to adopt the same policies that the Sahel states have adopted. If you want to call it the utopian model, great. But yes, Addis Ababa looks great. But on the you're cosmetically making it look better. But internally, that's like you wearing nice clothes, but you never go to the gym. You get what I'm saying, bro? You wear nice clothes, but you don't go to the gym. So your cholesterol is still high. Your blood pressure is still high. All the things that make you a human being is still warped. You haven't changed anything. And this is what makes what we have on this podcast so instrumental. And it's not an accident that every week continues to grow in viewership. Because we speak on things people want to hear about. Yeah. We're what you call an adaptation spirit, where we're able to bring other people into our fold, even though we don't say what they want to hear, but they know there's some sense to what we're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and to really kind of wrap up this idea of the Ethiopian model, the thing about Ethiopia is that they have taken steps to become self-reliant, right? But it's not without a lot of foreign investment. Okay. So they've kind of changed their focus from an agricultural focus to industrialization, right? And that's good because it's creating independent industrial growth, but at the same time, it's also, because of the foreign investment, is creating a continued dependency on foreign capital and imports, right? So one of those major investors, which we know about, are the Chinese. And it's wild because I've been to both countries now. And
Yeah.
so when I was in Ethiopia, when we drove through a lot of Addis, it was wild to me of how similar it felt to a lot of Chinese cities that I had been to. And I'm a person, I'm a former architecture student and I'm an artist. So I love um, visual expression.
Yeah.
And I love cities, period. I'm a city boy. I was born and raised a city boy. So I love cities. I live in London. And so I love visual expression. And so I love China for that because
Yeah.
there's so much. China is amazing visually, right? And
Yeah.
there's a lot of technology there, and I like technology too. But it was amazing how being in Addis felt similar in some ways to being in China. And I thought,
Yeah.
wow, there's got to be, I could just feel it. I could just feel it. You know, even on the last day when we went to a traditional Ethiopian um, marketplace, or not a marketplace, it was a restaurant, but it served as like it was like a gathering hall. Let me say that, a
Yeah.
traditional Ethiopian It was massive. I'm talking, you could probably get 1,000 people in there or more.
Yeah.
Like it was huge. And so we ate traditional Ethiopian food, injera, you know, with all of the other foods that they would use. And
Yeah.
but even as we were driving into the facility, like the new building where they had built everything, you can see everything just looks opulent, bro. There's lights everywhere. It just, and when we were driving in, man, I just felt like it just felt very Chinese to me in terms
Yeah.
of, you know, how it looked. And I was betwixt, as some people could say, because I was kind of torn, like, this looks good,
Yeah.
but it's based on foreign currency. And I'm
Yeah.
looking around and I can see how, you know, you see that, but then you go down a side street and you see something totally different. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
I call it the cover up.
yeah.
It's kind of like a cover up. You're masking. Remember what I said? That's like you wearing nice clothes, but you still ain't going to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you want to
Mm-hmm.
get healthy, right? What's the things you got to do? You got to go to the gym. A friend of
Mm-hmm.
mine, a coworker, I was
You
telling
gotta
her,
eat right.
yeah, you got to e-bike, you got to exercise, you got to not. If people, a lot of people drink energy drink, and they think it's gonna give them energy. It's not gonna give you energy. You still ain't gonna get energy. But you could drink green tea. That's a natural herb. It'll give you energy. You could sleep. So like people are very
Superficial.
superficial. And I think we as Africans, especially our generation, we're not superficial like our parents' generation. I think our
Mm,
parents' generation are very superficial. Oh, let me get on
mm,
France. Let me get in first class. We care about the dignity of Africa. And I
mm.
think that's what makes me have so much resentment against my parents' generation.
Yeah.
It just, I don't hide my resentment for them. I
Yeah.
met one woman from Nigeria the other day at work. She had the nerve to say that Trump should come and get Tinubu out of Nigeria. I said, so you want a criminal, come and get a criminal out. You see that mentality? And she called him my brother because he's from my tribe. I said, he's not my brother. I told her straight to her face, he's not my brother. Your generation, I was like looking at her like you're an idiot. Even though she was from a different tribe.
Your generation didn't put him in office.
Exactly. Y'all did. And
Yeah.
I have to stress this. The older generation, particularly these idiots that are all 60 plus, they're morons.
Mm,
They don't have any conception of African dignity.
mm,
They are so colonized, man. Which is why you have
mm.
the model, which is why it's going to take us to the next part, which is made in Africa. If you had any dignity, you would have things made in Nigeria. You know, clothing?
Hey, I think we need to get some shirts that say made in Africa.
Yeah, we do. I mean, it's just, that ain't nothing but cakework. It's just the dignity of, and we need to start making shirts to say Cultural Capitalist Podcast too. But
oh, hey, listen, don't get me on something. It's not
yeah,
this one, but it's the one underneath. Don't get me on that.
yeah, it's we need to work on that. I mean, it's just this lack of dignity, lack of pride of African pride, and this is what Ibrahim Traore was saying. Assimi Goita, and you talk about being jealous. This older generation, you ever notice that the people that are jealous of all these three men are the older generation?
Mm, mm.
They are so jealous. They're so colonized. They have no dignity. Like, for example, my manager at my job, he's of the older generation. The other day, I was on TikTok. I was posting, but I was tired. I was sitting there waiting for a customer to come. He said, "Well, you shouldn't be on the phone all the time." And I was looking at him like he kept on talking about, "Well, you shouldn't be on your phone a lot." And part of me was like, "I'm just gonna let you talk, so this conversation can end in 2 minutes. I don't care anymore. I'm not staying here. I have an exit plan. So you talking doesn't mean anything to me."
Yeah.
And I think he realized after he spoke that I didn't really give a shit what he had to say, because when you talk, when you return conversation, you actually care or you want to engage. But when you don't return conversation, it means you don't care. No reaction means that this guy just doesn't care. I don't care. You're not stopping what I'm going to become. God has ordained what is about to happen.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do to stop this. Not money, not the job. I'm not going to be homeless. I'm going to be none of that. You see what I'm saying? That's what these useless African leaders don't have. They're not Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso. They're not Issa Migota of Mali. They're not Abdulmatin of Niger. They're not Thomas Sankara, the legend from back in the day. They're not Kwame Nkrumah. They're not Malcolm X. They're not Tupac. They're not Harriet Tubman. They're not Queen. They're not Amina. They're not Queen. They're not King Amina. They're not my great grandmother. I actually did an episode on my great grandmother. Her name is Ashola Adeshala. She was a king of Odogbolu. She was the first king of Odogbolu. So I descend from a warrior queen. So the way I behave is not an accident. That independence, that leadership, that lack of I'm not going to be your servant is in me naturally. So you don't have that behavior. You have these leaders like William Ruto who have no dignity. Even though that guy, I don't know the president's name and prime minister in Ethiopia, but if you're going to do something, do it within the dignity of the people. Yes, you're changing the face. You're cleaning the mask. But what about the internal combustion? Are your people getting jobs? Are you just letting Chinese come and own buildings? Are the roads being built by the Ethiopians, not Chinese people? That's what's different about the Sahel states. Everything is being built by the Sahel people.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, I am a citizen of the Sahel. I may not have been born in Mali, Niger, or Burkina Faso, but I'm part of that group. That's my move. I could care less about, I don't want to hear this nonsense about, oh, I'm from Nigeria. No, I'm not from Nigeria. I'm from Africa.
Yeah.
I'm from the Sahel. I roll with those guys. Those guys, I'm ready to go if they said, come over here and put your vest on, put your gun on your hand, let's get to work. I'm gonna do what it's gonna take to defend Africa. I'm so sick of these people that have no African pride. Where's your African pride? That's why guys like Tupac used to say, Malcolm X used to say, Thomas Sankara, Kwame Nkrumah, the list is endless. Queen Napongo. Where's your African pride? These guys, they just want to wear Italian suits. Put those things on their head, looking like white judges. Or when you have a useless woman like Kemi Bugnock in England. Okay, if you hate Africans so much, change your name. In fact, drive yourself through a car wash, make sure bleach pours over your skin, and your skin is no longer chocolate. That way you can be white all the time.
So the Prime Minister of Ethiopia is Abiy Ahmed Ali. Ahmed.
You can say, I can't knock somebody who's changing the face of his country.
Mm-hmm.
You're not. It's like you're not going to be. I don't want a perfect leader. I just want somebody who gives his country back dignity, pride, self-respect.
Yeah.
I think he's doing all those things.
Yes.
Maybe the job I had an opinion. But if I talk to somebody else again, they might say he's actually doing things that some of these others ain't do. He's modernizing the country. Just because you're industrializing your country doesn't mean you're not doing agriculture too. Because you need agriculture. Because to me, when I saw the videos, remember the one I sent to you before you went over there?
Yeah.
They had trees all over the place.
Oh yeah, it's not that the agriculture is being left and just totally disregarded. It's not that it's being disregarded, but there is an effort for industrialization. The other thing as well,
but they need industrialization.
The other thing as well that he was saying about this prime minister as well is he comes from a tech background. And so one of the things he's really ramped up is an emphasis on AI industry.
I'm not mad at that.
Nah, I mean, in the heart of the city, I drove by a center. There's like this huge museum place, museum type of structure that it's an AI center. It's an AI design center that you can just go in. And so clearly, he's making efforts. And one of the swiftest ways to move towards industrialization is capitalizing on the current modern industries. And we know AI is one of those, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So the fact that he's pushing that is, I mean, just think about it. When is the last time you heard or we heard AI and Africa in the same sentence?
So
it
true,
just,
man. So true.
it's just not. It sounds foreign to a lot of people because when you hear the name of the mother of civilizations mentioned, a lot of times it's with disdain and with a level of disappointment in the level of depravity and poverty that still ravishes the continent when it never should, because you can't even count the trillions that the continent's been worth through history, not just right now, currently in its current state, but we're talking about history because Europe financially is where it is because of what it was able to exploit from Africa. And that goes from natural resources to the people, right? We're not just, and this is what people have to understand. We're not only talking about this, what comes out of the ground, we're talking about the people that became the industries for industrializing other places. So people have to realize that, because a lot of people will think about resources, the gold and the but you got to think the people, not just the
human
resources,
resource is the most vital.
the human cargo that was trafficked there and has existed and lived and sustained. Even if we talk about this country where I'm at right now, after World War II, I believe it was, when this country was rebuilding itself, it needed help. It needed help. And so what did they do? The government extended an invitation to places that it had colonized, such as the Caribbean or the Commonwealth. And so you get this huge influx of Caribbeans who were from Africa transported to the Caribbean. You find them because they were supposed to be citizens of this nation based on the Commonwealth and colonization. They came here and worked in a lot of the industries as the Windrush generation that helped rebuild the country. So you had engineers, you had nurses. A lot of the medical fields were supported by people from the Caribbean. You had service jobs that were supported, transport jobs on the TF, so we're not talking about just resources that come out of the ground. We're talking about the actual people.
Yes, sir. I think you make a great point there, man. Without the resources, because we were responsible for the reconstruction of Europe. Remember, during World War II, they were broke as hell. And once again, where did they go to go steal the food? In Africa. So, once again, it's like the world, Africa continues to make the world, which is why the next line is called Made in Africa. Made in Africa is not just the physical things we're creating, but it's the order of which we do things is what makes it Made in Africa. You know what I'm saying? Like me, for example, my animation series, I consider that Made in Africa because I'm building in a way that looks like us. And it's fire.
I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that.
And it's fire. I've taken African dignity and I've chosen to make it look like me and yourself.
I love that. I love
and
that.
it's fire.
I love
because
that.
Made in Africa, I don't think people understand how that changes everything. Now your kids don't have to get on a boat to Italy, to England, to France. They can stay their butts right there where they're from. I think these leaders are so short-sighted, and it's just so frustrating. That's why the Sahel states, it says, screw y'all. We're gonna go out there solo.
Yeah.
When we can't do this anymore. As you said, it just gets old, man.
Yes.
And
yes.
I hate to sound cold, but the older generation must die the fuck off so that we can rebuild this shit. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. I'm not afraid to say it. I don't care how they feel about it. I've had many arguments with older generations, 60 plus individuals say, y'all are idiots. Y'all haven't done shit. There's a Nigerian man that comes into my store all the time. And me and him have these blunt conversations. And he says, son, I can't even disagree with you. You are correct. We haven't done shit. We've put so much work on you guys to fix our shit. And you know what's even sad? There's a lot of our generation that has abandoned Africa. They'll go there to have a party. They'll go there to go have vacation, but they won't stay to fix the damn thing.
And
They
you know
won't put a
what, bro?
business there. They won't do shit.
You're absolutely right. And so this is so when we talk about supply chains and the other bit that we're going to talk about,
Yes, sir.
export strategy, this is a part of the reconstruction.
Yes,
It's going to
sir.
have to be a part of the reconstruction where I know a lot of times that there's this idea that there's no need for foreign investment. And I agree. Well, I want to say this: foreign investment that is at the that is exploitative. There's no need for that. I think that part of the reconstruction is foreign investment, but I think that investment is along the lines of what you're saying.
Yeah.
People like us who have lived abroad, who are part of the diaspora, to come back and say, let's start a business here, and for the government not to impose problems on that process. Now, I don't know what we've spoken about this before. Khalees has gone to Kenya. I don't know what all she's doing. I've heard a few things about some of the good, but also some of the repercussions. I think it's a great idea for her at her position and her status to have gone back over and do what she's doing. But I think that what you've just mentioned there, I think that is a part of the reconstruction, not this idea that it's a place that you go and party and you leave and don't have any relationship with. It's a place where you develop relationship with, long-term relationships that will that solidify the future of what business will be like there.
It's funny you say that, because this Made of America, you probably saw the video of this Russian man that was all over Africa. He slept with like 800 women, right? He was using a little, that camera, the phone, the glasses camera, whatever they call those things, the meta glasses. They caught him, but he ran off to Russia. I'm over here like, that kind of nonsense doesn't happen if there's some African pride. He's over there just sleeping with married women that he would see at the grocery stores, saying, "Oh, can you help me? I don't know how to do this." And these African women who have no dignity and no pride. And I said this in the open. They all need to be executed for being an African woman that had no dignity of herself, for you to let yourself be paraded by a white man. Do you not know what slavery is or colonization? Like, I hate the word colonization because it's just a fancy word for slavery. That means you enslaved me on my own land. We should stop saying the word colonized. It's not colonized. You enslaved. You see what I'm saying? And this notion, and I've been seeing this more and more. I am sick of people self-hating Africa, like this Kemi Bodnik. You are a coon and an Aunt Sally. If you hate being African so much, change your name. Why's your name still Kemi? You were not what you were before you married that white man. You've always been that. You hated yourself. Now that you're in England running for prime minister or whatever the hell you're running for, you decided that just shitting on Africa is the way to go. You're going to be the white people's, you're white inside and you're chocolate outside. Okay, why don't you go ahead and complete the circle? Change your name, don't do no more braids, and also, too, get some bleach on your skin. That'll complete the circle. Because I personally, as an African, want you banned from Africa for the rest of your life. And I mean this with optimism. When Africa becomes what it's going to become, because it's going to where it's going to become, which is going to become great, in spite of people like John Jemama, who's betraying Africa left and right. 10 years from now, Africa is going to be third highest GDP in the world. And when that happens, I want to make sure Kemi Bodnik in England stays a sorry carcass in England. Don't invest nothing. Don't bring your money, because we find out you own anything, it should be taken from you, and you and your family should be executed. You hate Africa, right? Good. I love Africa. I wouldn't be made in Africa. I'm African pride.
So is that, forgive me, bro, I know a little bit about her, but not much. Is that something that she has said before, that she hates the continent?
Yeah. She stays hating on the continent.
Really?
Selling out the continent. And yet you wear braids. And your name is Kemi. Change your name then. Change your damn name.
So is there any, like, can you give me an example of something that she's...
Okay, so when they went to the UN Council, right, to get the reparations, saying that Africa slavery was the greatest crime against humanity? Yeah. This bitch, oh my God, this piece of shit had the nerve to say, yes, England messed up in some places. They did some good things right too in slavery. How dare you? How colonized do you have to be? How weak of a human being do you have to be? So everything she's been building about her life is on our back. As long as our culture serves her end game, she's using it to get herself up. Oh, look at me. I'm the African that loves you guys so much. Come and deal with me. I love you guys. There's a lot. I met a useless guy like that in America over here at the driver's license office. Some white guy was talking to me. Then he felt the need to intervene and say, oh, I'm more African than you. And I turned around and looked at him like, you're a fucking idiot. And when I turned around and looked at me like, okay, he realized he just said something stupid. He's a village idiot. You see, this is what happens, right? You get these country village buffoons, they get into office. And when they get into office, they're like, oh my God, I've never seen anything like this. So they become enamored with power. You ever notice that a lot of people that are in power are these country-ass buffoons from small cities in Africa? You ever notice that?
No, not yet. No, I haven't. But again,
See,
I haven't.
Look at the pattern. Look at the pattern. A lot of these individuals are usually these country people that have never seen power and they get just enamored. That's why it's not an accident that Europe continues to give the Fulani weapons so they can terrorize people all over Africa.
Yeah.
Because the Fulani, people don't know this, sold a lot of African nations into slavery.
Mm.
They were the ones rounding up other people and slaying them into slavery.
Hold that thought, bro. Ezra, are you doing homework? Okay, well done, champ. You can put some music on too, yeah? Is it playing? Is it Limo? I'll put something on and turn it up a little bit, yeah? Put something on and turn it up a little bit so I want to be able to hear what you're listening to, please. I can't hear it. Yes, please. While you're doing your studies, yeah. Sorry, brother.
So y'all, we're live on is African fatherhood. How African fathers truly handle their business. You just watch my boy over there, fatherhood. He sets all his words to his son with love, while still same time maintaining the authority of fatherhood. Y'all see how I said that? He sent all the love to his son while still maintaining the authority of fatherhood through his words. This is the things that Malcolm X spoke about. This is what I call made in Africa moment right there. So for all of y'all all over the world who don't see great black men like this, I see this all the time. My brother does this. My other younger brother does this. So this is the African fatherhood right here. This is what I call made in Africa. So, and indirectly, this sounds funny, but that's a supply chain. It's the mentality of how we think. All those words that he just said to his son could have been said a different way. Whether you want to call it a more authoritative way, whatever you want to call it. But it was delivered to a son in a way that was received, and the son received those words with love. So, like, we have so many, we need to have this restoration of made in Africa moments, man, which in turn create supply chains from us. Supply chains for us. I'm sick of, like, I don't want to see made in China in my stuff anymore. I want to see made in Nigeria, made in Ghana, made in Burkina Faso. That's why I love Ibrahim Traore. He's a true African. John Jemima is just the guy who wants to speak Africa but live white. Man. Like the man, he's bro. I've tried to say, okay, let me follow behind this guy. Yeah. And when a person shows you, accept them from who they are. He just likes talking African, but he wants to just live like white people. Why do you need white people to maintain Ghana? And these older generation, God, they get on my nerves, man. You don't understand. They get on my nerves. They infuriate me. We have two other points: supply chains and export strategy. They stop all that because of their mentality. They are so colonized. Sorry for my long-winded answer, but man, oh my God, man, it's just infuriating, man.
It's something that needs to be expressed and shared, bro, because it's good for us to know specifics and what needs to change when infrastructure is one of the main problems that we have. You have to talk about what's happening that is counterproductive, right? And it's often it's a challenging conversation. You know what I'm saying? If you want to lose weight, some people don't want to wrestle with the fact that you're going to have to eat different. You're going to have to exercise a few times a week, and it's going to be painful. You know, there's a common adage that we've heard over the years: no pain, no gain. And it's the reality. You've got to be willing to have those uncomfortable conversations and the constructive criticism to say, look, that's not working. That's not working. They say insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different outcome. Yeah,
It sure is.
It's not. If it's not working, it's not working, bro. And we know that the continent of Africa has sustained the rest of the world. Why is it not sustaining itself? You know,
brother, it hasn't been working since 1458. That's when the Spaniards and Portuguese first landed in Africa and started slave selling us.
Yeah.
See, I'm giving you dates.
Yeah.
These people, like, I think what people have this misconception about what we do here, or maybe the way I talk. I'm apologetic about what I say. I come off. The word emotional is stupid and weak. I come off direct.
Yeah.
I'm not sugarcoating it. I'm not dancing around it. I'm not doing any of that. You want politician, you get somebody else. Right. You want the truth, you come to me. I'm not. I don't care about. And this is why I miss legends like Malcolm X, Fela Kuti, Thomas Sankara, Malcolm X, Tupac, Bob Marley. You know, I like Ali. These guys. There was no negotiating the truth.
Yeah. You know what else too?
It was what it was.
You know what else too is, you know, there's a guy that I watch at the moment that I'm aware of. You probably heard of him as well. It's a guy called D1. He's a rapper. He's a rapper.
Yes, he teaches at Harvard.
Yeah. He's the same, man. He's unapologetic and he's not self-serving. And all of those people that you mentioned weren't self-serving. You know, they had community in mind. And what we have a lot of times now is that, just like you said, people that get in power are enamored with being in power and they become very self-serving. You know, when we're in positions of influence, the world should be better for it.
Yes.
The world should be better for it. And if it's not, then that means there's a problem. You know, there's a problem. And
they don't want to see that because the supply chain is the table you eat at. If your table has no food, how are you supposed to feed the rest of the country? You take food and keep it all on your table. You know, the country has $1, 1 naira, 1 kobo, 1 bird, whatever the currency is. And you choose not to share it with the rest of your citizenship. There's a point where you serve your people. And this is what makes these 3 men from the Sahel states great. They serving their people. They say, you know what, we're going to take the dignity of our security and do it ourselves. Like, I get sick of Europe talking about global security. You don't know nothing about global security. You are the terrorist.
Wow.
All these European countries going around talking about global security. You're the terrorist.
Wow.
You give the weapons to the terrorists. You sell it to them with your NGOs. The biggest problem in Africa now is, which is what's interrupting these 2 last points, export strategy and supply chains, is NGOs. These countries sending organizations into Africa and just ruining the show. You get what I'm saying? Just ruining the show. Sorry about that. I think the thing is lagging. Just ruining the show. Yeah, it was for a little bit.
Okay.
But I think it's good now.
Okay.
The NGOs are a problem in Africa. NGOs. All these, bro, there's 450 NGOs in Nigeria alone. Why?
Wow.
So they can ship weapons to the terrorists?
Yeah.
You see a bunch of white men talking. Bro, listen to this. You got the Nigerian government saying, we're rehabbing terrorists so we can integrate them back into the society. Meanwhile, when you see the location where they're rehabbing the terrorists, you see a white man walking. What's that tell me? You're corruptizing these useless African leaders so they keep terrorizing their own people. So in Libya, the people can't have oil, gas, or anything. But these thieving countries, these corporations can steal oil and drive freely through the country. But yet, the regular citizens of Libya can't do anything. But when the great Gaddafi was alive, and I say the word the great Gaddafi because that's what he was. He was great. He's a damn legend.
Yeah.
An icon. People were served. The people were served. You had food. You had money. You had free housing. If you needed money for your business, you went to the government. They gave you grants, not loans. You know the word. You know where the word loan came from? From Eurocentrism. a way for you to owe money.
Yeah.
African governments never
For
ran
you to
that
be
way.
in debt.
They always gave money to their people so that people could go fund for themselves.
Yeah.
Because they know when the people build up, the country builds up. Listen to what I said, Kimba. When the people build up, the country builds up. It's a pillar built within a pillar.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why we have problems in Africa, man. Like I said, what we do here at Cultural Capitalist Podcast is solutions. I'm still, no matter how of a cynic I have to be, 90% of me is an optimist. I know it's coming. I believe it in my heart.
Yeah.
I need to do my part, just like what I'm doing with my comic book series, animation series, my clothing, my shoe wear, my art, just like what you're doing, We're building Africa's reconstruction again.
Yeah.
And we're not standing for the useless generation that came before us who aren't doing anything. And I'm sorry to sound so cruel to them, but they're just useless to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, do you know what? A lot of what we're saying is directly related to this idea of the export strategy. And basically it's based on everything we've been saying, is that it needs to be made to be consumed. It needs to be made there to be consumed by others, or made there to be consumed by others within the continent, but then also further afield as well. There's no way in the world that there shouldn't be a large manufacturing industry on a continent. There should be. There's land, there's resources for it, and there's the consistent weather for it. If weather would suggest that it causes a conflict between building and having warehouses, then
that's a lie.
Use the natural.
That's a damn lie.
I mean, the sun is there. Use the energy, bro. Like there should be
solar power, AC.
There should be a huge company in Africa right now that is basically based on. Maybe that's a company that we should start. You know what I mean? A company that is based on solar panels and based on solar energy, because the continent is exposed to it 365 days a year. So there's
it's such a lie.
It's just no way in the world.
It's basically propaganda to keep exploitation and foreign entities, keep them alive. No, I want them to die the hell off. I don't give a damn about France or England or China. Fuck China. Fuck the United Arab Emirates. I can keep going. Germany, fuck them all. Italy, I don't care about none of them because they don't care about me. That's what you are seeing from this trio over here in the Sahel states. They're saying bleep us, no, bleep you. That's what we don't have from these. Drug your mama. Man, dude, this guy gets on my nerves, man. He's such a sellout, pretending to be a Pan-Africanist. You're not a Pan-Africanist, you're a sellout. Stop making decisions that don't benefit your continent. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's our thing right here, man. And we have to get them out of here. But the things that have been going on, what's going on with you, brother? What do you have for the people? What do the people need to know that you have popping off? They need to, you know what I'm saying?
More of the same. So you can check me out at www.kingkimba.com. I got my books for sale there. Shades of Black, my first novel. You can head to my website and go get that. In fact, it's actually only available in the UK at the moment. I'm currently working on a US distributor so I can get the books across to the US as well. So we're working on that. But you can still order it if you want. They just have to be willing to pay to feed for it. So and got music online. Class Crown is online. Carrots is online. These are things you can just Google and you'll see them.
And Shades of Black as well. Don't forget that.
Shades of Black, for sure, man.
Yeah.
That's what's going on, bro.
If you mind it, I forgot to play the animation intro. I totally forgot. If I can't do anything else, let me at least do that. I totally forgot my passion for what's going on with Africa, man, made me forget. So y'all, I have a new animation out now. It's on my YouTube channel. It's where it's gonna be. It's the only place I'm gonna put it. Man, people have seen it and just like kind of blown away by what they've seen. They're like, wow, you can actually do something like that doesn't look Eurocentralized. Yes, you can. And it culminates with everything I've watched as a kid and what I've always wanted to see. A void that wasn't there. So if y'all permit me, I'm gonna play this animation intro for y'all. Y'all about to see some it's about to be, you about to see some fire right here. Let me see. Let me get this thing right quick so I can find it. Where are you? Oh my god. Unbelievable. Let's go to history. Maybe I can get it there. Let's see. All right, here we go. All right, y'all. I'm gonna play it, but I'm gonna flip the camera around. So all those who are not privy, well, you get a chance to be privy now. All right, y'all. It's showtime. Here we go. Yeah. This thing is pretty cool. I ain't gonna lie.
Adewale, why don't you do the big screen?
Yeah, okay. There we go. Much better. That part is really cool.
Ezra, you nearly finished? Okay. You don't need to do all of it now. Yeah. Bring it up to me. Let me check it, please.
Man. Wow. This is crazy.
Just leave it with me. You're going to have a break. Have a break, okay?
Wow.
No, not today. You got too much tomorrow. You can leave that open, please.
Y'all, that is the animation intro. I'm actually going to copy the link into the chat. I'm doing that right now. Y'all, that is quite the achievement, what I showed y'all there. Y'all, if I wish I could play y'all what my boy Kimber sent to me, man, on the voicemail. It just, man, it lit a fuel in me like, and I'm a very, very driven individual. But to hear my brother say something like that to me was just, man, it just put me on rocket ship. I'm just, yo, I've been on, I don't know what you want to call it, on Super Saiyan mode, whatever you want to call it, man, but I'm on a different level of, I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm done with, I literally called this man to thank him. Remember, brother, I called you immediately. I said, Kimber, that was just, to wake up to something like that, lets you know that your work is appreciated. Because I put in 2 years of doing this thing, man. I didn't start this construction of this animation till I was halfway through the comic book. So this animation we just watched is really the comic book itself. So it's basically me telling you the comic book in a 2-minute introducing the characters to you, but also to making you think like, oh my God, this could be a cartoon series, this could be a game series, this could be a movie, this could be so many things. You see what I'm saying? So there's a dignity and pride, an African dignity and pride about that.
No one saw the Marvel Universe industry coming.
Nope.
No one saw that. No one saw that. So, you benefit from the fact that you've seen it happen. Yep. And you took ownership of the gifts and the abilities God gave you and said, you know what, this is going to be my focus and this is going to be my legacy. And this is where I'm going to invest. This is going to be made in Africa. And so, you just taking the necessary steps to ensure that it's established.
Yes, sir. And for all of y'all who are wondering, like my boy Kimber said, establish. The link of the video is in the chat. That's the only way you can do it. That's what's good about YouTube, brother. When you put up a video, whether it's 2 minutes long or 40 minutes long, you create it in such a way that the link can be there available for your fans, for your audience, and they can go there anytime and click it. And I simultaneously at the same time too. Just like how I just play this for y'all right now, I copy the link and go to all my Instagram, my whatever. Anywhere I can copy a link and send it to my followers. so they can click and see like, whoa, like this is, brother, this, like I said again, man, bro, I'm so proud of this creation. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not going to let anybody, and these are the reasons why I was saying in my podcast episode yesterday, do not stay at a job longer than you need to.
Mm-hmm.
The birth of an idea is always the hardest. But once you birth the idea, as my boy Kimber said, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
The bills, y'all, I'm going to say this to anybody watching this right now. The bills, there will always be bills. But your dreams aren't forever. You must, with the allotted time you've been given by this universe, make it happen. Don't be stuck in no job talking about what you should have done by the time you're 95 ain't got no teeth left. No. Do it while you're in your 40s. And even if you're 95, you just woke up and say, you know what, finally I got the courage for this dream. Go do it.
Go do it.
You got to do it. You got to go get it, because this world,
go do it.
People you're going to meet, there's very few that actually will give you encouragement to go pursue your dream. Like I have a friend of mine right now, she wears my gear. And she just, I remember I told her I want to pay you. She's like, nah, don't pay me. I just want to see you come up. I want to see the world know your name. It doesn't get any better than that, man. And this is funny, when I started the job, me and her started the job at the same time, where I work at, but we're like, somehow this thing has turned into a tight-ass friendship. For the first time, she actually hugged me for the first time, like, yesterday.
That's a blessing, bro.
It's a blessing. Listen. So you have somebody in your corner that wants to see you do the damn thing.
Till I said, sis, appreciate you supporting my man.
I will tell her, man. And at the same time, too, she's actually giving me the idea to get back into personal training again.
Yeah, man.
So now I'm going to start personal training again. Because my boy knows I'll be working out. I get my workout on. But now I've decided, you know what? I don't need to do the whole scope. Let me just focus on what I have a passion for. Boxing. Yeah. Not only am I going to teach you how to box, but I'm going to teach you how to self-defense yourself.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be training her. So when she's trained, she's wearing my gear.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she's going to help me get clients.
Come on, bro. Come on.
And I'm not charging her a dime.
Listen. This is what I wanted to say to you. Because we've been switching the times for the show. So, you know, this is I agree. And what that does, okay, so if I don't know what the monthly expenses are, but I've looked at my monthly expenses and said, look, if I can knock out my monthly expenses doing what I need to do 5 times a month, then the rest of that time, you know, I can fit in the Cultural Capitalist podcast at a time that's more convenient for both of us. And we don't have to have that situation, that conflict, that schedule conflict. So this is what I'm saying to you. You know, I wanted to encourage you in this as well. You know, what is the monthly bill, right? What does that monthly ticket look like? And what do we need to work towards to where, you know, whatever we doing creatively can sort that out so that we have the time? Because you've always said this, time is the commodity. You know, we sacrifice time to earn finances, but so this personal training thing, man, you know, who knows, maybe that ticks the box.
Bro, that's gonna tick the vibe. Trust me, I know. Let me tell for all y'all do know, I don't even try to hide it. On general, I usually charge $200 a session, right? Now, if I train you once a week, it's $200. If you train twice a week, I discount it to $150. I'm not trying to train everybody, but if I've got 5-6 clients, I'm set, because I don't have bills like that. Let me give y'all a financial thing about me so people can understand me. I'm very good with money. I don't have debt. None. Zero debt. I have nothing. I owe nothing. If I have to, y'all, I live in my car. You know what I'm saying? I'll go to the gym and take a bath at the gym, get a gym membership. That's the kind of mentality I have. I have no debt. So all my money goes to my dream. When I see my money, it goes to my dream. It doesn't go to bills. It goes to my dream.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I don't have a car payment. I don't live outside of my means. So what my brother is saying is that we're going to try to figure out a way to get more time to this thing.
Yeah.
And just get away from the infrastructure of job. And let me tell you what job stands for, y'all. Just over broke.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm putting this to the universe, and hopefully the universe will deliver this one day. One day, I'm hoping I can make my friend like my communications manager at Sanusi Vision one day. Literally.
Hey, you just spoke it. Today is Saturday, 18th.
So she would be the communications manager.
2026.
Because she was saying, man, She was saying to me, man, you are inspiring me. I really want to go to school and go do communication. I said, girl, go ahead. What's stopping you? Nothing. So my dream one day is to say, you know what, Yvonne, you should become the communications manager for Sanusi Vision. That takes less weight off me. Now you've got somebody who's in charge. You've got a woman, which is a good thing. Now you've got a woman in charge. Second in command, tell everybody else what to do, how to go about it. And then also, so you got a woman that's not a yes woman. Tell my ass no in 2 seconds. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, too, tell me that shit is hard.
Yeah.
It's a balance because you got somebody who's telling you, yeah, you the shit, ain't got no problem telling you ain't shit at this moment. And you need that. Those are real friends that'll call you out for your shit. Like, put you in your place. That's brotherhood. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, we got to wrap it up.
This man checked me on the show. All right, so maybe we ain't going to say that. But we know what you're saying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, bro, for anybody out there, man, please pursue your dream. Go get it. Don't be stuck in a job. A job, you don't owe a job a damn thing. Don't be afraid of not to be at your job. Your job is not a safety net. I hate to say this. They can fire you tomorrow.
That's real. That's real.
So yeah, brother, what else you got for the people? Look, so before we get out, what else you got for the people, man? Is that it?
Man, that's it, man.
You know,
appreciate y'all listening. Appreciate y'all listening. Trust you got something from the show. Trust it was a blessing to you, inspired you, challenged you, and that's it, you know.
As I always say, and every time we're gonna end it on this note, there's no success. No, one, there's no success in skipping steps. The back of the line is just as important in front of the line. Be determined, not desperate. And then the second one, your dreams can be delayed, but must never be extinguished. So wait your time while the universe delivers your right hand. Be determined, not desperate. So y'all, thank you for joining us again on this another awesome episode of the Culture Capitalist Podcast. I am Adewale Agboke Jr. That's King Kimba, aka the Colonel. Don't worry about why we call him the Colonel. Just call him the Colonel. That's all you need to know. You know what I'm saying? Blessings upon y'all. Have a great week. Have a great grace of your week. See y'all next week. Peace.
Peace, y'all.
Yes, sir.